Hello, friends. Welcome to another week of Enchanted Chatter. Bri and I are here alive on this Wednesday evening. A little tired, a little sleepy, but we're here to talk about Lorcana.
It was my birthday yesterday. I'm allowed to be tired.
Yes, you are. Bri turned 29 again.
28.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
29, so I have to make sure I stay younger than her.
I love it. I was laughing before we started. I told Bri the name of the stream and that I was having a hard time coming up with the name for the stream. So I was like, Hirams, Gantus, and Tinkerbells. Oh my, that covers the topics we're going to go over and made me chuckle when I thought of it. So that's what it was. Hey, Fairy Queen Tink. So that gives you a brief preview of what we're going to talk about. This weekend, I had the lovely surprise, I guess, I don't know, Liam out of the blue was like, hey, you want to jump on the stream with me and cast with me for the Gantu challenge? And I was like, yes, please. So I got to cast that this weekend with him for four rounds, I think it ended up being. And that was like my Lorcana events for the weekend. Did you do anything this past weekend?
My weekend is a blur. So our house, it is not a birthday, it's a birth week for me.
I mean, I also have a birth month, so I understand this. That's why my birthday is on the first day of the month, so I can celebrate the entire month.
So I remember we did do things, but I don't remember what things we did right now.
That's fair.
I'm checking.
But I don't think you did anything Lorcana
related. I don't think so. There were cards involved this weekend, but I think they were not Disney cards.
Fair. And then last night you stopped by League. I was at League and you stopped by to get some birthday packs. And you pulled at least a foil that you were missing from your master collection. Yeah. So that's always good.
A foil legendary for sure that we needed. I don't know about the other ones because I haven't actually made our list of cards that we need. But there was a foil legendary that I needed. That I knew we didn't have that one yet. I can't remember those for the most part.
And then the big news last week from the Lorecast was we have an official second ban of cards. Hiram is gone. Goodbye.
Oh, no.
We'll miss you. No, I won't.
No, I won't. It's all items.
Essentially, the reasoning behind the ban was that Hiram creates a resource gap that is almost, I wouldn't say impossible to overcome, but once he pops off, and it makes it pretty hard to come back from. I think Hiram has always been a challenge to deal with. I kind of understood the ban when he was banned initially from Core Constructed, and I'm not shocked that we're seeing a ban for Infinity Constructed now.
No, I mean, I feel like it's pretty much the same reasoning of they want to make sure they keep the game fun, and it's not fun if everyone's just got
oh boy. Yeah, the internet glitch out there for a second.
I'm the only one home.
All right, you're coming back in a little bit, but you're a little robot-y looking. Okay, bars are back. I think we're okay.
Yeah.
What were you saying now? So we said they
want to try to keep the game fun, and it's not fun if everyone's just playing the same deck because that's the best deck, and why would you play anything else?
Yeah, I think that's a fair summary. I'm also interested on what your take. I think this has also brought up the conversation around if we think other cards are going to get banned. Banning cards in constructed play, competitive play, official play, whatever you want to call it, since it's different from game to game, is pretty common. So I'm curious if you think there are any cards that are currently popular that may see a ban, and we may see another ban for core constructed.
I feel like we will. Essentially just because I feel like Amethyst has been a little too powerhousey. They've been piling a little bit too much into just Amethyst, but I don't know exactly what they would end up banning because it feels like everything's pretty much like, okay, like you can do something about this. There's not really a whole lot that you can't just deal with.
Yeah, I think
I need to do something to kind of balance it out, and they'll probably either end up having to come out with the next set and with cards in other colors to kind of help balance it, or they're going to end up having to get rid of something.
Yeah, I find it hard to picture what they would ban in Amethyst. I think when I'm thinking about Amethyst cards, I can think of an answer to everything that may be banned. Like that's a pain to deal with.
Yeah, it was like there's a handful of cards that they could probably ban, and but I feel like also at this point there's so much in Amethyst right now that's so powerful that it's almost like it's not just one card that is the problem for them to be easy. Like Hiram, it's easy to pinpoint. Okay, they're easy, like him and them drawing on top of all these other things, and it's piling up, but it all stems from this one point. There's so many options and so many different points that it could happen for Amethyst at the moment that it's harder to pinpoint an exact, like, okay, this card is the issue.
Yeah, I could see, I know there's been a lot of talk about Tramp potentially getting banned, but like
I don't think it's at the ban level. I think that's like how people wanted to ban Ariel from set one, or like other, like the Fox, Madam M Fox. Madam M Fox was, I loved it. One of my favorite cards to play. I could admit it was a pretty unfair card.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty unfair. But it got rotated out. So with rotation also comes the rotation is a ban of sorts, air quotes ban of sorts.
Yeah.
Or core constructed. And then you're going to get all of those back in Infinity though as well. But with Infinity, should be theoretically, in theory, there should be more options for you to deal with certain cards that you might not be able to deal with them in a core constructed because of rotation. But it's just Hiram was the one card I can only think of that was like, okay, they can pinpoint it. I can't think of any other cards that I can really pinpoint, like, oh, that card, without this card, like, this deck isn't really thing. Like, this is the key thing, and this is what makes it, like, thing.
Absolutely.
Like, I can't think of any cards that are just out, that are right now, that are out, that are just,
yeah, that's like, when I think of all the Amethyst cards, I also think of the fact that you can rotate a lot of those Amethyst cards in whatever deck you're playing it in and slot in a handful of other cards and still have success. So I struggle to say, like, I think this Amethyst card should be banned.
I think it's just more Amethyst in general right now has more of a consistent card draw, because a card draw advantage is something that happens in the game, I feel like, a lot, where if there's decks that don't have enough card draw in them, they'll end up dying just because they can't keep up with the amount of card draw that Amethyst has. Because, like, Blurple, for example, they can ramp and they can play a bajillion things, but they're also drawing enough that they're most likely going to see every answer they have just because they're going to keep drawing cards.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I think, though, that is the, like, archetype for Amethyst is to draw cards. So I think we see the most draw in that color for that reason.
Yeah. I just think if they were going to try to make it more balanced for them, I would see them adding more cards into other colors aside from amethyst for card draw to kind of balance out the card draw of it, because there's not really a ton of card draw and other things. And like I know they have like certain archetypes for each one that they don't want to do too much of one into the other, but I think they'll need to at least to do some of it, just enough to keep it balanced out, because we're getting into a purple, oops, all purple.
Yeah.
And which is reminding of a reminder of the Ruby Sapphire days of, okay, well, you know, there's going to be like a bajillion of this. You just know you're going to see a ton of amethyst. You just don't know.
Yeah, I think the lucky
with another color, but
right, and I think that's definitely the difference we see post rotations in like where we're at in the meta right now is, yes, you see a lot of amethyst paired with X, Y, or Z, but it's nice because you can pair it basically with everything right now, and it's
not just a set. Hiram, popsicle.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
but you brought up a good point, which was oops all amethyst, which I think segues us back into the Gantu gauntlet that I casted this weekend with Liam, and just fun formats of the game that aren't necessarily infinity, aren't necessarily core constructed, but are something unique to that event. A lot of community-driven events, a lot of leagues do different challenges to change things up, and I think this is a really good example. So for the Gantu Gauntlet, members, anyone who was playing in it had to play all 4 Gantus. So they had to play 4 of each of the Gantus. So it brought in an interesting dynamic because everybody knew that 16 cards in every opponent's deck was going to be Gantu. And then you could pair those 16 cards with whatever in combination you wanted to. So if you were playing, you know, Amber, Emerald, it was Emerald, and then the Gantus. So I think it makes for like a really interesting dynamic to see how you can build around these 16 cards a deck that's really successful. It was very fun to cast. It was very silly. And unsurprisingly, the 2 top decks were Amber Steel and Amethyst Steel. So rather than tossing in the 16 Gantus, the people that I think on stream that I was able to see had the most success, and obviously the first and second place players both incorporated Gantu into their deck building versus, hey, I want to play like this meta deck and I'm going to take 16 cards out and swap in 16.
That's good. I think is it glitching everywhere or is it just mine?
I think it is just you, but
no, stream is frozen on Twitch in general.
Keeps
like freezing